So hello everybody and thanks for joining us for this special live session. I'm Itzik Amiel and we are here with the Switch weekly interview series Switch It On, where we talk to smart and talented people about how can you switch on your practice and even your life. And you're invited, so we are live right now and I encourage you to join. I see a lot of you join. I should apologize from the beginning that a lot of you got the wrong link and I hope now you find it because I could see you joining in the back end. So thank you, Rajesh and David and Anna and Elizabetta and Marine. And I can see all of you joining. So thank you for that. Because today we're going to talk about something exciting. And I love already the title, Creating Super Fans. I was actually looking for a few months to do this session. I'm so excited we're doing it finally today. Or in other words, actually, how to create loyal advocates and raving fans to accelerate your firm growth. Now, without a doubt, that will be a powerful episode. You're going to see very soon why, because my guest is amazing. But, if you have any question, of course, you should put it in the chat box from the beginning, because I know some of you ask in the beginning. And, of course, your name and where you're dialing from, because we want to know you are with us. I don't want my guests think that I'm here alone with Alan only. You really need to show your face. Otherwise, we're going to talk toward you and at you. And I have the honor to have this live session asking me to do with a top CX expert and a speaker and an author and an amazing human being. Today, my special guest and friend is Brittany Hodak. So before I invite Brittany, as you know, I always like to tell people behind the back as a speaker. I hate when people reading the resume about me. So I like to talk about them behind the back before I bring them in. And let me give you some highlights about Brittany because I can talk hours about it. But Brittany is award-winning entrepreneur, author, and customer experience speaker who has delivered keynote across the globe to organizations, including American Express, United Nations, just to name a few. And she has worked with some of the world's biggest brands and entertainers, including Walmart, Disney, Katy Perry, yes, and Dolly Parton. And she founded and scaled an entertainment startup to 8-figure before exiting. She is the former chief of experience officer of experience.com, and that's one of the things she did. And a marvelous book, Creating Superfans, was released on January 10, 2023, almost 6 months ago. And with that, I think I'll finish grabbing Badgie, Brittany, because I know I want to bring you in. So welcome, Brittany, and thanks a lot for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be here, my friend. As you said, we spent months trying to line this up, and I am just thrilled that the day is finally here and we get to have this conversation.
Awesome. And, a lot of people who know me think that I did it in purpose, that, I invite you and you were not joining, and I invite you to see how well you are prepared to join. But no, it was really my mistake. So I'm sorry for that. So it's great to have you here, Brittany. Thanks for joining us for a valuable time, because I know you're very busy. I actually had a very busy few months, the whole year. We just chatted before, and I think, as I mentioned, you booked him almost 6 months ago. So how was the last couple of months? A chaos, a lot of interesting things, nice things, or?
Yes, it's been crazy, but in all the best ways. I'm leaving tomorrow for my 31st speaking engagement of the year. So I've been traveling all over the place. I've done like close to 50 virtual events. It has been absolute chaos, but in all the best ways. I am so passionate about customer experience. I am so excited every time I get the opportunity to talk to amazing people about how to turn their customers into super fans. So I am having a blast.
Amazing. I think there's no time that I talk to you, you never smile. So I love it, because that's not fake, it's real.
Life's too short not to smile.
So, with your permission, let me set the stage for our conversation, because I'm sure that many of our people listening to us wanted to create loyal client base to the firm, right? And you may be seeking ways to turn your existing client to become maybe your raving fans and boost your referrals. If you are, you're in the right place, because here's the good news. Super fans are not just for rock stars. You probably read the title and you asked me, not only for NBA teams, whatever. What if your clients, those ones who are working with you, your loyal client who love your firm brand, the way super fans like Taylor Swift, like fans like Sport Club, like Ajax, who are based in the Netherlands, like the club. What if they come back again and again and again? It's not fantasy, it's reality. And told the friends to do the same. You see, memorable case study from businesses and all sides illustrate that customer experience, or CX, is the battlefield of winning and keeping customers. We're going to hear today from Brittany a lot of times repeat. But you want to really learn the powerful framework for transforming your practice from commodity into a category of one. So you got to stay with us to listen to this insightful episode. And I know it's short, but it is powerful. A positive client experience is really crucial to the success of your professional practice, because a happy client is the one who is likely to become a loyal client who can help boost your revenue. And these clients are also willing to defend the favorite band. Yeah, even if you're a lawyer or accountant, should someone say something negative about you, whatever, offline and online. But how do you do it? Or I better ask, how do you do it in the right way? You know, and this is exactly the reason for this special episode with Brittany, to help you understand more how to create super fans for your own practice. And Brittany, I already told you that I like to start always with what I call 10 in 1, 10 questions in 1 minute. I promise I didn't share anything with Brittany. It's all surprise for her as well. So, and just because I know so much, you talk about a lot of information. I want to show the audience a little bit glimpse to the beautiful work you're doing. And those of you joining us, I encourage you to join us. If you want, put in the chat, in the comments, also your answers, the thing I'm going to ask Brittany, and let's see if we all align. Okay, so let me prepare that, Brittany. If you're ready, I'm just going to put it on the first one. So
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. So the first one, creating an amazing client experience can be done by every firm, only by a selected firm, or depending.
Every firm that decides they want to do it can do it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You see, it's easy. Number 2, clients would be willing to go out of their way to go to a firm that had a better customer service. In some cases, for sure, or they may be wish, but mostly stay.
Nope. Clients absolutely will switch if they know they're going to get a better customer service experience at another firm.
You just heard it. It's Brittany is certain about it. You should be certain as well. Number 3, clients believe great customer service is more important than price, less important than price, or the same?
More important. In fact, 86% of customers say that customer experience is more important than price or brand when it comes to loyalty.
Awesome. And lawyers should hear that again and again. Number 4, if your customer aren't willing or aren't telling their friends about you, you're in trouble. Big time, only in your dreams, or maybe in the future.
You are in trouble. I will say with the caveat, you may have a firm that people don't want to talk about. If you are, let's say you're, a divorce attorney, people aren't necessarily like excited to tell their friends about it. However, we can come back to that example because I do know a divorce attorney who is creating super fans by a very smart strategy that she's using. So I will say you're in trouble big time.
Great. We'll come back to it soon. Number 5, your story is important to your client experience. Not always, you bet, or don't put words in my mouth, Itzik.
You bet. It is incredibly important.
Great. Number 6, bad service costs you business. Sometimes, every single time, but don't make me mad.
I will say sometimes. Not every single time, but a lot of times it can, yes.
Beautiful. Because, if she says sometimes, you don't believe her, right? You guys better listen up. Number 7, personalizing the client experience. Good, but not a must. A winning formula, or too much work?
I think it's a winning formula.
Absolutely. And we're going to hear more what the formula Brittany has to share with us. Number 8, amazing client experience is for client loyalty. Good to have, rarely connected, or essential?
Essential.
So short and sweet. Thank you, Brittany. Number 9, how important are employees' attitude to client experience? The most important? In some cases, what's the connection?
The most important, an apathetic employee will never create an engaged client.
Absolutely. And I think now you all wake up the leaders over there. You're going to better listen up. It's not only about you, it's about everybody. Number 10, and the last one, the best result for the firm that excels in designing amazing client experience is growth revenue, get more of the right client, or improvement of employee experience.
You know the answer. It's D, all of the above. You will get these results and so much more when you focus on amazing customer experience.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It was a tricky question. It didn't fail. You know everything. So awesome.
You didn't trick me, Itzik. You tried.
Anyway, but it was insightful. So you see, we comment a little bit more about it, and that brings me actually to the next part, Brittany. Because I shared in your short intro. By the way, those of you joining us right now, thank you very much for joining. If you have questions, don't ask me. Put it in the chat because I want to address it to Brittany. So thank you for joining us again, all of you. I can see about Brittany, by the way, we have people from 31 countries in what I see in front of me here in the back end. So that's impressive. But ask your question. It's important because we want to ask Brittany your question. So I shared, Brittany, in my short intro about you, that the new book called Creating Superfans, How to Turn Customers into Lifelong Advocates. And in the book, you claim that creating superfans is within the reach of every company, in our case, a professional firm. So my question, obviously, to you, Brittany, what is your definition of superfan and why our viewers should care about it?
So my definition of a super fan is a customer or stakeholder who is so delighted by their experience working with your firm that they become an enthusiastic advocate, meaning when given the opportunity, they are going to refer you or recommend you. In short, you could say a super fan is a customer who creates more customers or a client who creates more clients. And the reason that this is important is because the only way to future-proof your firm is to transcend from a potential commodity provider into a category of one, to become the firm that people say, I want to work with this firm at the exclusion of all others. And when you can do that, you have a future that is very secure because you've built your reputation and you have a base of followers who want to work with not someone who does what you do, but with you because of the service that you provide.
Love it. And I love it because you said mainly, because a lot of people listening, professional firm, professional service firm, never believe that, it's on, there can be a category one. They're always arguing if that's really help, but you could see that it's very much connected, as Brittany said, to your client base, and they can help you reach it even faster. So that was amazing input or insight from you, Brittany. Again, those of you joining us, thank you for joining us. Put your name in the chat. Let us know you are with us. And if you have questions, you can always do the same in the comments. We are talking about creating superfans. So Brittany, let me be even more practical with you because we have a certain amount of time. We want to ask directly to the meat, I would say meatballs in the soup. I'm sure many professionals who listen to us really asking themselves right now, how do I get my clients to come back? And really defend the reputation, as mentioned before, of the professional firm, and maybe spread compliments about the firm. And everybody's interested. Now, in your book, you offer a super model that help people craft experiences and create superfans. So again, the obvious question, Brittany, can you share with us, what is this super model?
I can. And, before we address the supermodel, I want to talk about one thing because you said people say, oh, it's services. And, if you look back at the history of the planet, right? For many millennia, it was a product commodity, right? Economy. So whether you're talking about like before there was manufacturing, trading, it was all about the products, what you had. And then over time, what we've seen, particularly since the Industrial Revolution, is that it's transformed into a service economy. And that's where many firms see themselves, right? I provide a service. I help you with this case. I am doing a service in exchange for billable hours. But what the best firms know is that we are no longer living in a service economy. We are living in an experience economy. It's not just about the outcome. It's not just about the exchange of billable hours for what is being billed. It's about the experience, how people feel about the work that you're doing for them before, during, and after the resolution of whatever case that you're working on. So the way to win in an experience economy is to realize that if you're still thinking about a service, you're never going to transform out of that commodity market. And people don't pay high dollar for commodity services. They say it's a commodity, let me bargain shop. You have to transcend that. You have to go beyond service-based. You have to go beyond transactional, even beyond relational to experiential. You have to prove that you deserve those superfan customers because you're doing more than your competitors. So that's really the first thing that I want people to understand is you've got to have the mindset of we're not like the others. Our firm is not just a carbon copy of all of the other firms. It wasn't just copy and repeat, and we're going to take, you know, all of the same associates from all of the same law schools and like make the exact same vanilla cake. You've got to understand your uniqueness. You've got to have alignment around what it is that you do that is different and unique before you can start creating those super fans, because it's not a service economy anymore. It was 40, 50, 60 years ago, but now we're living in a world where every single customer is an influencer. Every single customer can, in just a matter of moments, share an opinion that could touch your prospects all around the world and shape the way that they're going to think and feel about your brand, even if they've never interacted with you. So that's the first thing to realize, is that you're not actually in a service business. You are in the experience business, and every single person on your team, whether they're a brand new paralegal or a partner at your firm for the past 40 years, they are the chief experience officer of your company. They are the ones that are shaping the opinion that your prospects and your customers have of your entire practice in every interaction with every client every single day.
Love it. And now for the supermodel.
All right, and now for the supermodel. So if you want to create those super fans, being great is not going to cut it. You have got to be super. Super is an acronym that's a mnemonic device to help you take customer centricity and customer experience and layer it across your entire organization. So it's like, I know you know it. Are you ready for it? You want to dive in?
Sure. I love hearing it, everything, because you always add value when you share
it. Well, thank you. I want this to be everybody's favorite supermodel. So like whoever your favorite supermodel is, if it's like Heidi Klum or like Kendall Jenner or Naomi Campbell, like whoever it is, I want this supermodel to be your favorite. This one cannot wear a bikini, but it can help make you and your firm a lot of money. So here it is, the supermodel. Super. S. S is start with your story. And when I say start with your story, I don't mean lead with your story. I mean, what is it that makes you different from everybody else out there in the world fighting for those exact same clients? Why should someone care? What is it that's unique and different and special about your firm? And why does that matter to your potential clients? So that's the first part. S, you've got to start with your story. Every superhero has an origin story, and so do you. Every superhero has a superpower, and so do you. You've got to figure out what it is and be able to show how you're using that superpower to better the lives of your clients.
And that's already make you authentic. It's your story.
Oh, yes. It 100% makes you authentic. And, you know, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and one of the things that we're known for is our country music songwriters. Exactly. And one of the things that I love about country music is it's about stories. And one of the great sort of paradoxes of songwriting in general, but particularly country songwriting, is that the more specific the details are included in a song, the more universal its appeal. Like you might think on the surface, oh, if I want to appeal to everybody, I'm going to be pretty general with the details. But in reality, it's the specificity that makes people relate to it, because it's that specificity that makes us like see the pictures in our head. So even if I'm singing a song about like, you know, the first time that I fell in love with somebody over the summer, and I'm talking about being under the Georgia stars in a pickup truck and whatever, like it doesn't matter if somebody listening to that had the first person that they loved that was in, you know, Montana in a totally different setting. You'll see your story when you hear someone singing about a similar emotion with their story. And it's the exact same when you're telling your story as a firm. You've got to connect why you are helpful to the lives of those potential clients. You've got to overpower apathy by making your thing relevant to their life. And the quickest and most effective way to do that is with a memorable, meaningful story.
Great. We got the S. Now with the U.
U is understand your customer story. I always like to say that super fans are excuse me. Super fans are created at the intersection of your story and every customer story. So you think about it like a Venn diagram, those two circles where they overlap, that is where the super fandom happens. So the next step is that you've got to truly understand your customer story. What are they struggling with? What's the transformation that they're hoping to see in their life? How can you help bring that to life? What other options do they have? What are the reservations that they have, either on the surface or deep down? You've got to be able to address those things to truly show your customer that you understand who they are. Because as Teddy Roosevelt famously said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it's about having that empathy, not just the authority, to truly make them feel like you are the absolute best person to help them with this need that they have in their life right now.
I will not disturb you to continue with your model. Because
Yes.
I had a question, but I'm not going to put it here later on. So go ahead.
Okay, so next up is P. We've got SUP. P is personalize. Now, Itzik, are you familiar with a book called The Platinum Rule?
No.
Okay, so it's a great book. We all grew up with the golden rule, right? It's universal.
Right.
I know we've got people from 31 different countries. Probably people in all 31 of those countries are familiar with the golden rule. It's the foundation of, every major world religion. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Well, it's a great rule. Dr. Tony Alessandro wrote a book in the 90s where he said, if you want to truly be customer-centric, treating others the way you want to be treated isn't good enough. You've got to take it up a notch and follow the platinum rule. You've got to treat customers the way they want to be treated, not how you would want to be treated in their shoes, because every customer wants to be treated a different way. And that may not be the same way that you would. Everyone has different backgrounds and beliefs and preferences. So the P in super is a nod to the fact that you should personalize every customer's experience to the extent that you can, utilizing both high tech and high touch tools to create a personalized experience and journey that makes every customer feel as if they are the most important customer that you have.
Great. I mean, again, I get some people thinking, oh my God, personalizing experience. But you continue because we have a lot of questions to ask you afterwards.
Yeah, well, and it's also about creating systems and processes to make it easy to do it. So it's not like, how am I spending more billable hours on personalization? It's how am I being more efficient and effective with the questions that I ask at the beginning so that I know the best way and the best time to interact with every client based on what their preferences are. So it's creating the systems and processes. That's the high tech side that allows you to be more efficient and effective while also curating the types of experiences that every single client wants from your firm.
So you heard there is a shortcut. Brittany just shoved these shortcuts to that. So don't get lost. We are still sharing the supermodel. And now we had P, so now E.
Yes. So E is all about exceeding expectations. And in my book, Creating Superfans, in the E part, I talk all about something that I call intentional experience design, which is really just about bringing intentionality to every single step of your customer's journey. There are what I call slow elevators within every single customer's journey, right? There are parts of every interaction where something's going to feel a little bit slow. What can you do to help make that feel faster, even if you're not actually speeding it up? How can you bring intentionality to make those painful moments just a little bit less painful and those mundane, forgettable moments into ones that feel fun or magical or memorable in some way? So it's all about taking net negatives and making them neutral or positive, and taking a bunch of those neutral experiences and making those positive along the way so that you're exceeding your customers and your clients' expectations. At the end of an interaction, they're saying, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be, or wow, that was more pleasant than I thought it would be.
Great. You were just frozen for a split second, but we could understand what you're talking about. So
no. Great. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're back.
And the last one is the R.
Yes. Last but not least, we have R, which is repeat. Elizabeth Arden famously said, repetition makes reputation, and reputation makes customers. So repeat is a nod to the fact that when it comes to customer centricity, you are never done. You've got to have a day in, day out obsession with improving your clients' experiences, because what was good enough 3 years ago is not good enough today. And what is good enough today is not going to be good enough in 3 years, because your clients aren't just comparing you with the best experiences that they've had with other law firms. They're comparing you to the best experiences they've had anywhere with any service provider. So you've got to continue to rise to the occasion. You've got to continue to innovate and improve to show your customers that you care about their experience.
Love it. So now we have the supermodel, and I think everybody will writing down while Brittany speaks. I mean, you know that each of them has much more deeper levels, and you need more guidance, of course, for implementing it. But at least you get the clues what it's about. How can everybody be a supermodel? I mean, or super and supermodel. How can you implement the supermodel? I mean, again, we invite those of you joining us. We are live. We are talking about creating a super fans with Brittany Hodak, and you're very much invited to join us. So we are still live, and there is still a place to join. So please do. And if you're there, please you put your name in the chat. Let us know you are with us. Now, I want to help Brittany to help our viewers think differently, because since, you know, many professional firms do not really have a client experience department or any of these sorts, you probably know, which is strange, but maybe it will take years to come. So do they need one in order to be able to create these super funds you're talking about? Or maybe the truth is that every employee, somewhere I hear you saying, every employee on the team is really in the experience department. What is your take on that?
Yes. So my take is that any intention given to creating better client experiences is good, whether you choose to hire one employee who is sort of the ringleader or whether you parse that responsibility across your entire team. I like a combination approach. I like having someone who is that flag bearer for client experience and also giving responsibility to everyone across your team. Because the reality is, even if you have someone who is your experience concierge or the person who's in charge of creating amazing experiences, like I said before, everyone is in the experience department, and no amount of like touchy-feely, like warm messages from employee number 1 are going to matter when employee number 7 is a jerk every single time they answer the phone or get in front of your client. So one of the most important things that you can do as the leader of your firm is to model the behavior that you expect from every single one of your employees, because your employees will never deliver better service than they receive. So you've got to treat them very, very well to model the behavior that you expect from them in every interaction with your customers. And what I would encourage you to do is really, instead of making this like a nice to have above and beyond, make it part of the expectations. Perhaps even tie it to compensation. So you can tie compensation of your team members to things like CSAT scores, customer satisfaction scores. You can tie it to how many referrals that you're getting, to how many people come back, to what reviews they leave you online. So instead of just looking at it as, you know, our only goal is to win or lose, saying, yes, winning is incredibly important. However, we're going to do it in a way that makes everyone feel good about the path that we took to get there, that makes everyone feel good, and not just like, oh, you know, in the end, the ends are going to justify the means.
Wow, that was practical and to the point. And I think he indirectly even give to the listener also maybe a formula to retain their employees. I mean, indirectly, you know, one of the painful point in a lot of businesses, including the law firm and accounting firm, and maybe by treating him this way, the same like you want to be treated by the clients, you also retain your employees in the same time, and again, gain better employees to stay with you. I mean, maybe. I don't know, I'm just throwing it to the air. But I think what you just said is so powerful because, you know, a lot of time the internal process of the firm influence so badly on the client, although everybody would like to keep the client, give them good experience, but internally the experience is totally different. And what you said is an absolutely direct link between the two of the processes and influence it big time. So better wake up and see it.
Oh,
Again,
it is absolutely a direct link. And it's also a red flag. Like if you have a lot of corporate clients and they're experiencing turnover with their representatives again and again, that's a huge red flag, because as a customer, it makes you say, what do I not know about this firm if their associates keep leaving? what is it that's making people run away from this place? And should I run away too? So retaining your talent is incredibly important. It is so much more expensive to hire and train new talent than it is to just retain the existing talent that you have. So you've got to make sure that you're getting the right people and that you're treating them incredibly well so that they don't think about wanting to leave, right? You can never let somebody else have the promise of treating your employees better and dangle that carrot in front of them to get them to try to leave. You don't want people you want them to be like slapping the carrots away. Like, I don't ever want to go anywhere else. You want it to be not just a paycheck when they come and work with you, but a purpose. They understand that they're a part of something bigger and better. And that is all of the great work that they're doing for your clients and your community.
Love it. Thank you very much for this passion, Brittany. I can see that you are so triggered by all those things that, happening in real life and try to cure, the whole world about that. And I think it's beautiful to see. But by the way, if you're interested to learn more about Brittany and her work, you can check her website, brittanyhodak.com. And that's also where you can get your book. We'll put in the show notes also all the links. Again, brittanyhodak.com. Those of you interested to learn more and be in touch with Brittany. And if you're invited to speak to your organization, I'm sure she'll find it important and interesting. Definitely if you're in the US based, I will grab the opportunity. But if you want to make sure you never miss one of our weekly Switch On interview series, again, follow me on LinkedIn, go to the Switch Hub website. You can sign up, get a business development strategies and tips, and you'll be added, by the way, to the email list where you get regular reminder about fantastic guests like Brittany of today, so you're never going to miss it. So let's continue about the practical topic, almost at the end of our conversation, Brittany, about creating superfans. But from my humble experience, I mentor and, train a lot of leading professional firms worldwide. I noticed that many of them often think that exceeding expectation is very difficult. And I know you cover what does it really mean to exceed client expectation. So my question to you here is, what according to you are the right way to exceed client expectation? Because I heard a lot of people views, but I want to know, what is the right way? What would be advice for those people listening to us that's struggling with that part?
Well, thank you for asking this question, Itzik. I love this question because you're right. I think a lot of people have a lot of anxiety around exceeding client expectations, or they think, well, it's impossible. Why should I even try? And then they end up sort of just failing. And what that leads to is this vicious cycle of people not coming back and always having to try to attract new clients and being in biz dev mode. So the first thing that I will say is you have to know your clients' expectations before you can exceed them. Right? Fair. You have to understand what they are. And a lot of times there's a misalignment between what you think your client's expectations are and what they actually are, because you haven't done a good job of discussing and setting those expectations. So you can't be afraid to have those conversations to actually level set what the expectations are. Because if you think your client's expectation is that something is going to happen in 24 hours, but they think it should happen in 6 hours, if you deliver it in 12 hours, you might be thinking, wow, I way over delivered. And the client is thinking this took twice as long as I thought. So the first step to being able to exceed expectations is to understand what those expectations are. So don't be afraid to have those conversations to lay out for your customer exactly what they should expect. Have it written out. Be able to say this from doing 50 cases like this in the past 2 years, we want to let you know that this is what we think is going to play out. This is what we can expect to happen. So you're setting those expectations. Then make sure this is in my book, so you can pick up a copy of Creating Superfans. It's available as a hardcover, an audiobook, an ebook. I talk about what I call intentional experience design, which is looking at all of those places along the journey and finding the opportunities where you have the best, you can make the most impact. So you're not going to try to exceed every single expectation every single time, right? That would be exhausting and also likely impossible. But what are the 3 or 5 that could make the most outsized impact? Where are the ones that are meaningful, memorable, and measurable? And if you can lean into a few of those and build systems and processes around what it means to over deliver or exceed expectations at those points in the customer's journey, you're going to create an outsized impact, both in terms of ROI and also in the emotional or relational feelings that it creates for your client around that experience that you've delivered.
Like it. And, and you said very good thing. I mean, exactly the word that I was looking for, that you don't have to do everything, because you do everything. If you exceed all expectation, if you do everything to a wow, then at the end, nothing is a wow, right? As we said.
Exactly. And then that is the expectation. And that's, what I said is that, like, what was good enough a year ago isn't good enough anymore. You've got to constantly be improving, even if it's just 1% improvement all the time. You've got to constantly be improving and looking for those moments where you can do it well, right? Like, I've got 2 little kids. If I gave my kids a present every single day, they would just expect it and they would not, think like
Spoil
anything
them.
about it. Yeah. They would be like, Mom, it's Tuesday where I didn't unwrap
Where's
anything
the
today.
gift? Love it. And indeed that. And I think, it is so easy in our industry because there are not many firms are doing any about it. I remember one firm, the only thing they did, they realized every time they put in the meeting room kind of a bowl with biscuits, when they're serving coffee. And they realized what sort of biscuit this client will eat. And one time I remember they told me this client, every time they come, will eat like 6, 7 biscuits of Lotus biscuits. So they decided next time they put only Lotus biscuits and even put a little box with Lotus biscuit to give to the client. And that's what he bought the client, because how did you know? Just paying attention to little small thing, it create experience on the spot. Maybe it's not the one you're talking about, the meaningful one, etc. But that's already help you stand out with your client experience. Nobody else is doing those things. So
yeah, that's a great example. I went to a dentist the other day, a new dentist for the first time, and they had a like smoothie bar set up in their lobby. And when I got there, they said, what kind of smoothie would you like? And they made me a, wonderful smoothie and gave it to me in this like beautiful insulated cup with the dentist's name on it. And it was a really great experience. It was something that went above and beyond. So in the book, I talk about using intentionality to really see things through your customer's eyes before, during, and after they interact with you. So if you serve a lot of clients in person, how easy is it for them to get the directions to your office? Do they know where they're going? Do they know where to park? Do you have a spot for them to park? If you're in a big city, do you have someone at the front desk who's going to like feed the meter for them so they're not worried about the meter expiring while they're in their consultation? Like all of the little things that can feel like friction for your prospects and your clients. How can you eliminate that to make it feel simple and pleasurable to work with you?
And a lot of time people have good ideas, but it's implementation that counts. A lot of them don't take the time to implement. Some of the implementation is just a simple process, right? The other day I was flying KLM, and I always said to people, writing a postcard is a very personal thing, right? Although I teach relationship, similar thing. And on my seat was waiting for me just a handwritten postcard with the CEO. And although I know it's a wonderful thing, but even when it happens to you, when you teach about those things, it's still interesting experience. Although I'm already a loyal client, it's always always fun. So and I know you have a lot of those ideas, but just to stimulate people's mind how easy it is, you have to take the action.
Yeah, the best marketing doesn't cost anything. Those little gestures are priceless when it comes to making a client feel valued, to making you, it's feel not like just a seat filler on that flight, but a loyal customer to whom the CEO was grateful to have as a client.
And even share it on my LinkedIn Live. Imagine
there you go. Yeah, of course.
So almost the end of the show, Brittany. I want to say that creating superfan clients should be a top priority for every professional firm listening to us. So every brand today, but superfan, as Brittany said, cannot be bought. They have only to be created. And they're created by the interaction as you're an intersection, as you have from Brittany, of your story and every client story. And research, I think you shared also in your book, the research showing that it costs about 5 times more to acquire a new client. I even said more than I even said 8 or 9 times than to retain an existing one. So learning the act of client retention should be the top priority of every professional firm. And that's to add to it the statistic that even a 5% increase in client retention can yield a 75% increase in profitability. And so there's no wonder the power of creating superfan really can have a growth to your professional firm directly, immediately, without even certain doubt. And you learned today with this powerful session with Brittany about all of stuff. Again, I recommend very warmly, go get the book. It's a brand new book, and definitely find a way to go into conversation with Brittany because she has so much to share and our time is over. But to summarize this session, let me share a quote by definitely will inspire you, many of you, and I already mentioned it. a quote by nobody else than Brittany herself, who said, if your customers aren't telling their friends about you, you're in trouble. And you better wake up over there because you will be in trouble. And then that's will be too late. So, Brittany, I will say now, friends, it's time to take action, implement everything you heard in this session. Go implement the supermodel, see how does it work. I've been here with Brittany Hodak. Brittany, there's nobody asking questions. I know your time is limited, but I'm sure there will be also on the replay people watch and ask. So we'll make sure you're going to get the question people ask and maybe hopefully answer them. But Brittany is a customer experience expert, award-winning entrepreneur, speaker, and author. And for now, I want to thank you, Brittany. It's been fantastic. The time flies very much fast, I know. But I loved every moment I shared with you. So thank you very, very much for that.
Well, thank you. It's like I loved being here too. And if anybody has any questions, you can always just tag me in on LinkedIn if you're watching this later. I would love to answer them. And I want to remind you that when you tell people you're great, that's marketing. But when your customers tell people you're great, that's magic. So harness that magic, work on creating those super fans, and I promise you, you will future-proof your firm and your business against any competitor, current or future.
Awesome word. And Brittany and myself want to thank each one of you joining us. Thank you for joining. Remember, next episode is next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And now it's time for you to switch on and create super fans to grow your firm even faster. Thank you, everybody. Thank Brittany. Bye for now.